All right. Let's make an answer key for functions and trig semester 1 exam. Problem number 1. Before you are able to take a bite of your new chocolate bar, a friend comes along and takes 1/3 of the bar. Then another friend comes along and you give this person 1/7 what you have left. What portion of the original bar remains? All right, so I'm going to draw a picture for this one. And this picture isn't going to be like, let's see. We could, all right, let's see here. So we have 1/3, so we're going to take 1/3. Right, so there is 1/3, leaving 2/3 left over. And from that, we're going to take 1/7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, I just happened to draw that just perfectly so that I could take away 1/7. All right, what's left over? So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of, let's see, a total of 1, 2, 3, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 21. Right, so we're left with 12 21st or whatever. So, but then you might not get lucky and draw a diagram that just works perfectly like that. So one thing you think about is, if I take away 1/3, I'm left with 2/3. And if I take away 1/7 of 2/3, I'm left with 6/7 of 2/3. Actually, I wrote it the other way around, but 6/7 of 2/3. And 6/7 of is always multiplication of 2/3 gives us 12 out of 21. All right, so you look at what was left over after the first cut as a fraction, and then of that, what's left over of the second one. All right, number 2. Let's see. A group of 10 people is planning to contribute equal amounts of money to buy some pizza. After the pizza was ordered, one person left. Okay, so then everyone pays a little extra money. So if X is number of people, oh wait, not X, I'm thinking of a different problem. X is price of pizza. And let's see, you've got X over 9, which is price per person, 9 people. And we've got X over 10, price per person, 10 people. So the price divided by 9 people, or the price divided by 10 people. And the difference between those is 80 cents. I think if we divide it by 10 people, it's going to be a little less per person because it's spread out a little more. So it makes sense to say that X over 9 minus X over 10. So price for 9 per person for 9 people minus price per person for 10 people would equal 80 cents. We're going to write that as a decimal there. So let's see. We need to find the common denominator. So this is going to be 10 over 10, multiply that one by 10 over 10, and here we're going to multiply by 9 over 9. Okay. And then see, that's going to give us 10x over 90 minus 9x over 90. See, 10x minus 9x is just x over 90. See, I'll multiply by 90 on both sides, and I get x equals, where's my calculator? Hold on, I got to get a calculator. All right, so we got 0.8 times 90 is $72. Okay, next up. So several preps were meeting in a room. I think we have room for this down here. All right, preps meeting in a room. It says that after 85 of them left, the room was 6/11th as full as it was initially. How many preps were in the room at the start? So we're going to call X number of preps in room originally. So we know that 6/11ths of X, right? 6/11ths of X, that's 6/11ths times X, left in room. Okay. And well, that's after 85 people left. So X minus 85 is also left in room. So if I take X and I subtract 85 people, that's how many people are left. If I take X and multiply it by 6/11ths, that's how many people are left. So it must be true that 6/11ths X equals X minus 85. So let's see, I'll subtract X from each side. So this is like 11/11ths X. So 6 minus, so 6 over 11 X minus 11 over 11X. I'm just gonna, so then 6 minus 11 is negative 5 over 11X equals negative 85. So I can multiply both sides by 11. Negative 5X equals 85 times 11. That's going to be 935. 935, then divide by 5 on each side, or negative 5, by the way. Well, that should be a negative. Divide by negative 5 on each side, so 935 divided by 5 is 187. 187. And we just check here to see if that's correct. So let's see if there are 187 originally, then 187 times 6. ABC 11 is 102, and 187 minus 85 people who left is 102, so it works. Okay. Next problem, 4. Coffee beans. So coffee beans, so you lose 12% of the rate. So after losing, so X will be original weight. And we say that X, take away 12.5% of X is equal to 823. Wait, no, that's not what we want. Yeah, 823. So we want 823 kilograms after, right? So we'll see that's X minus, so 12.5% of is 0.125 times X. Of is multiplication, and that's the percent as a decimal. 823. So that's 100%, or 1 minus 1.25 is 0.875x. And then divide by 0.875 on each side, and we get 823 divided by 0.875 is 940.5. We're told to round to the nearest whole number, so 941. I'll put approximately 941 kilograms. All right, 5. Sam and Cam. Oh, yeah. All right. This is a tough one. So Sam and Cam are mowing. Sam's portion is M over 20. And Cam's portion is M over 60, where M is minutes, number of minutes, right? So if they mow for, like, if Sam mowed for 20 minutes, 20 over 20 would be the whole thing. That's a whole yard. If they mowed for 60 minutes, then it'd be 60 over 60, and Cam would mow the whole yard. So their portions added together. So if I take Sam's portion plus Cam's portion. We want it to equal 1 whole yard. So then let's put the common denominator here. So I would have, let's see, 60 and 20. Well, 20 goes into 60, but if you ever had to, right, and let's do this the way that if you have to way, I can just multiply this one by 60 over 60 times m over 20 plus m over 60 times 20 over 20 equals 1. So then we get 60m plus 20m over 20 times 60, which is 1200. Now we could have just done this over 60 because I could have just multiplied this one by 3, but if you had to, you can always go this route. Equals 1, so I'll multiply both sides by 1200. Well, actually, let's combine like terms first. So I have 80m over 1200 equals 1. Multiply by 1200, 80m equals 1200, and divide by 80 equals 1200 divided by 80 is 15. 15 minutes. Now, it does say to round to the nearest whole minute. We didn't have to round here because it worked out perfectly, but you may have to round for yours. It's possible. All right, 6. People in a theater. I think I can squeeze this one in down here. 6 people in a theater. So there are men, women, children, and the ratio of, let's see, men to women to men is 2 to 3. So that's 2 to 3. No, I just realized something. I think I made a mistake on that one. And let's see. Ratio of women to men is 2 to 3, and men to children is 1 to 2. So 1 to 2 would be the same as 3 to 6. Did make a mistake on this one. Hold on a second. But here's the magic of making the quiz yourself. You can always just change the question. We're going to make this 2 to 3, women to men, and 1 to 4. Wait a minute. Geez, I got to fix a bunch of things now. But anyways, all right, we're going to go back here. The ratio of women to men, 2 to 3, and men to children is 1 to 4, which is the same as 3 to 12. All right, and we have a total of 323 people in the theater. People total. And let's see, we could write this out as, well, if you look here, there are 3 parts men, 2 parts women, and 12 parts children. So they're all together 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 parts, 3 of which are composed of men. So that means that that the number of men is equal to 3/17 of the 323 people there, right? Or x equals 3 ABC 17 times 323, which is 57 men. Okay, and let's just check out how that works. 57, so if for every 3 men there are 2 women, so let's see, 57 divided by 3 times 2 is 38. Okay, so if I break this down into groups of 3, there are, let's see, 57 are divided by 3, so there are 19 groups of 3, and therefore there are 19 groups of 2 women, and then there would be 19 groups of 12 children, so 19 times 12 is 228. Okay. And then add those all up, 228 plus 38 plus 57 plus 38 plus 228 is 323. So it works. Okay. All right. Next up. All right, number 7, the outing club. All right, let's see. 3/5 the outing club are girls. All right, so if X is the number of members last year, okay, then 3/5 X is number of girls last year, and so 2/5 X would be number of boys last year, and then we would have 3/5 X plus 11 would be number of girls this year, and 2/5 X times 2 would be number of boys this year. And so we end up with 3/5 X plus 11 being equal to 2 times 2/5 X. So let's see, this is 3/5 X plus 11 equals 4/5 X. Let's subtract 3/5 X from each side. 11 equals 1/5 X. And divide by 1/5, which is the same as multiplying by 5, gives us 55 equals X for members last year. All right, number 8. Let's see. Cass decided to sell programs. Okay. Trying to figure out number of programs printed. So P, we'll call that number of programs printed. We've got cost. So this is 0.2, 20 cents times P is cost of printing. Let's see. Sold all but 50. So P minus 50. Number of programs sold. And we sold those at 50 cents each. So we have 0.5 times P minus 50 being revenue. And we're told altogether that they had a profit of $200. So we have, let's see, our profit, our revenue is 0.5 P minus 50 minus costs, which is 0.2 P equals $200. Distributed property, 0.5 P. 0.5 times 50 is 1/2 times 50, that's 25, minus 0.2p is 200. 0.5 minus 0.2 is 0.3p. 200, add 25 to each side is 225, and then we divide by 0.3, and we get 225 divided by 0.3 is 750 programs. Alrighty, so drivers in distress. We have M. Oh, let's just call it X. We've been consistent. Number of miles that's being towed. And for, let's see here, Brooke, For Brooke, we have, okay, 30, you know what? Yeah, this will work. $39 initially, plus $2 per mile. And then for Morgan, it's just $5 per mile, so 5 times the number of miles. We're trying to find when are these two going to be the same, so when is $39 plus $2 per mile the same as or equal to $5 per mile? Let's say I'll subtract 2m from each side, and I get 39 equals 3m, and I divide by 3, and I get 13 equals m. So I get told 13 miles is going to be the same no matter what. All right, and then, this is going to work out perfectly. Last problem, number 10, we've got change. Let's see, we've got x will be number of dimes. Let's see, there's a total of 218 coins, so 218 minus x would be number of quarters. We've got 0.1x would be the value of the dimes, so 10 cents times the number of dimes, and 0.25 times the number of quarters would be value of quarters. So then altogether, we're trying to figure out when is 0.1x plus 0.25 times 218 minus x going to equal $28.55. So let's see, distributive property, 0.25 times 218, 0.25 times 218, 54.5 minus 0.25x is $28.55. 54.5 minus, minus 0.15x, combine like terms, 28.55. We will subtract 54.5 from each side. 28.55, 28.55 minus 54.5 is negative 25.95, negative 25.95, and then divide by negative 0.15 on each side, divided by negative 0.15, gives us 173 dimes. And we're done.